Hi, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. So this time around, we're going to be using the Guardian of the Night Tarot, and then Spirit of the Animals. So they both kind of have like animal vibes to them, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I don't really have much else to add to that. I hope you're all doing well. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. Hi, Libra. How's it going? Let's get an overall vibe for you. We have Dear, love. Oh, be gentle with yourself. You heal with the power of love. See the light in all things. Acknowledge your self-worth and grace. Yeah. Love that. We'll read more about that animal totem after we get your tarot cards out. Love the green in the card too, because that's like very heart chakra, which obviously like has to do with love. So I love that. We have the Eight of Swords. Uh-huh. We have the Knight of Swords. Five of Swords. Four of Pentacles. Oh boy. Eight of Wands. Nine of Wands. Okay. I feel like Libra's been on a journey, and look who shows up. Your effing card at the bottom of the deck, which I love. We have the Death card behind that. Two of Wands, Emperor. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I kind of just had to like move everything over. My Taurus self, it has to be aesthetically pleasing. So let's see what, and I opened right to the Deer card. See, it's like, get right to it. Okay, it says gentleness, grace, beauty, healing, caring, love, shy, sensitive, swift, alert, cautious, intuitive. Deer are watchful and weary. This vigilance helps them remain safe. Deer love a new path, adventure, and lots of variety. Just watch them nimble through a garden. They love to taste all of life. Deer people are refined, loving, and graceful. If deer is your totem, you instinctively know the benefits of plants and herbs. Plant knowledge, along with gentle compassion, is essential to your healing nature. You might sometimes feel victimized by others. You might sometimes feel victimized because others take advantage of your kindness and generosity. If this happens, retake control by invoking the energy of Stag, which demands respect and sets strong territorial boundaries. Deer people naturally know who their enemies are and will artfully steer clear of them. If a deer person is your friend, pay attention to their intuitive advice. Deer are hard to fool. Let the natural harmony of deer create a gentle peace for your world. Sometimes it feels like I'm reading in front of a class and I just start stuttering. But I love this because too, we have these little birds here. You might see, like just kind of the time of year that it is. And actually, as I was shuffling the tarot, I'm looking out my sliding door and there's a mourning dove. I believe that's what they're called. I'm going to go with that because that's what came to mind, that was drinking. I have this old flower planter that basically just collects rainwater. There's no plants in it, but that bird or birds drink from it, so I just keep refilling it. But anyway, there was one that came to get a drink. So maybe even just like watching birds, bird watching. There's the movie called The Big Year with Jack Black, Owen Wilson, and Steve Martin, I think. Is that his name? Which is about bird watching. It is so wholesome, so good. You should watch it. But I don't know, the birds are coming to mind too. But it's more about even just like being present, like being grounded, being present, like gratitude. Like I said, all of the green. We have a lot of green even throughout these cards too. But we start with the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is like this mental, like mind prison type of vibe. Swords are air, very much your energy. It has to do with our minds, our thoughts, mindset, our perception of realities. It's truth, honesty, but like divine truth. I also see swords as being the card of our ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences or feelings, whether they are true or not, correct or not, even ours or not. I mean, it could be a story that somebody else attached to you, and it's just been part of your identity forever, So the Eight of Swords is like this self-inflicted mind prison. It's feeling like you don't have any options, or it's feeling like you're trapped, or feeling like there's no way out. And in this depiction, it almost kind of looks like a kaleidoscope, like it feels like almost like an illusion. But the lesson with the Eight of Swords is that we're one decision away from changing that story in our minds. We're one step away, because in the traditional depiction of the Eight of Swords, they're blindfolded and bound by the hands and sometimes legs. But if you look closer, they're not actually tied. It's just like wrapped around them loosely, but if they wanted to move, they could, but they don't, because they feel like they're trapped. So it's really about like, what, again, mindset. Do you feel like there is no way out? Are you waiting for somebody to come save you? Again, like this old story, right? And especially with it paired with the Four of Pentacles, because Four of Pentacles is like holding on too tight. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, save it, spend it. It's our time. It's our physical body also. So again, like I said, with the Four of Pentacles, there is this like not wanting to let go of what you have, because this like scarcity mindset of you're either not going to get it back, and it's just going to be completely lost, and you're going to be in an even worse spot than you are now. Or it's not going to be what you think it is, or whatever, but regardless, there is this like stubborn thing with the Four of Pentacles. Speaking of birds, here too, there's owls in that, and the Eight of Swords. There's these, I don't know if they're cardinals or what, in the Four of Pentacles. So again, if there is this thing of like just holding on to a story, and it's like preventing you from moving forward, or even like preventing a solution from coming in. And it's interesting because we have the Knight of Swords here. And that is actually like kind of the solution, because the Knight of Swords is like the fastest moving knight in the deck. Knights are generally messengers too, but the Knight of Swords is going to like quickly move towards or act on an idea. And it's interesting too that it's paired with the Eight of Wands, because the Eight of Wands is also very fast moving. We have, ideas, thoughts, mindset here with the swords, and then we have action, motivation with the wands. So it's kind of like once you get yourself out of, this energy, release your grip a little bit here, then, there's these two energies here, like it's like available for you to move forward, move towards something. But it's also like it's up to you though. Like nobody else is really going to like do this for you. Like, all of these cards are like singular type of cards here. And so that's why I'm saying, it's like literally your decision. And also too, it doesn't even have to be like anything major, but it is a shift in perspective. There's a confidence that comes with the Knight of Swords too, maybe arrogance, but on the outside, if you didn't know them, then you would see it as being confident. And then, like I said, the Eight of Wands is, wands are about action, communication, the motivation behind the actions that you take. I also see wands as being information, because that's what we get by trying things, right? We figure out what works, what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like, and it kind of goes into our little wisdom bank, And it's even kind of like, this hawk, I think is what this is hunting. Let me see what... Falcon, control, patience, precision, speed, adaptable. It does have this energy though about like going for what you want. And literally, I think it was yesterday, or let me see. Yeah, it was yesterday. I went to pick up some free plants from Facebook Marketplace. And on my way back, there was a bird, and it was either a falcon or a hawk. I honestly have no clue what the effing difference is, but literally flying around with a snake in their hands, talons, whatever you call them. And I'm sitting at this red light, and I'm like, what the hell? Because then there was this little like black bird that was carrying it around, because the hawk or the falcon, whatever it is, probably got a bit too close to wherever this blackbird lives. But it was like, it kept like diving towards the hawk or the falcon, and the falcon's like, I'm just trying to get out of here with my lunch, but literally they were carrying a snake. So that's kind of interesting that this comes up, because I don't, if you can see it in this card, there is a snake here. So, again, Eight of Wands is kind of fast moving. It can't even be communication. Both of these cards speak to communication. Clearly communicating your thoughts, your plans, what you want to do, what you're thinking about doing, and then literally going to do them. Taking action on those things. This could be, I think I just said, like, the mourning dove is back. I wish I could show you. I clearly need to go feed that little, or fill that bin again, because every time it has to like jump inside of it. Poor thing. Okay, I'll do that when we're done here. But we have the Five of Swords, which is interesting because we have these two fast moving things over here. But then sandwiching these fast moving things here it's like the the lack of like motivation or confidence or something like happens here that like almost kind of prevents it from happening. Because the Five of Swords, I see the Five of Swords as being like a battle of wits. There could be somebody else involved. There doesn't have to be. But again, swords, our mind, thoughts, right? Fives are transitionary energies. They can be a bit uncomfortable because they get us from one place to the next. And, you know, change can be difficult, scary, hard, you know. And if there is somebody else involved, then if you're having to like converse with somebody, or like if you have to rely on somebody else to help you in some capacity, then it's like there's that immediate, almost kind of like speed bump that presents itself, or that you think is going to present itself. There's a deer, which is interesting that they both showed up. Because, I mean, at first glance, you wouldn't even think that there's necessarily anything here for the deer to be able to munch on, but clearly there's something. And then the Nine of Wands, it's interesting too that we have the fox showing back up. What is the fox? I think it's like clever. What is that? Four of Pentacles. Cleverness, spry, magical, shape shifting. And we have the Nine of Wands. Or I'm sorry, the porcupine there too. So, you know, again, I mean, the porcupine could be somebody else. It could be what you think, or how you think the interaction is going to go. The Nine of Wands is like the wounded warrior. It says that, you know, you might feel a bit burnt out. And it's okay to take a rest, but not to like give up, because you're like almost at the finish line. I mean, what's interesting though is that at least the fox is out. You know, in here they're kind of like, I don't know if they're underground or wherever these rabbits are. But out here, you know, they're at least on one of these tree stumps here, which is interesting because there's 5 tree stumps in the Five of Swords, and then there's tree stumps in the Nine of Wands also. So there's some level of accomplishment happening here, even if both of these cards are kind of, you know, they don't really talk about accomplishments. Although they do though. Like I said, the Five of Swords, like it is an energy to allow yourself to move through. Maybe it's a conversation that you need to have with somebody. And maybe you feel like you've tried to have this conversation with them multiple times and it just hasn't gone well. So again, there's this feeling of like these 2 pieces of bread and then like the meat in the middle, you know, or veggies. I mean, you know, you don't have to be a meat eater, of course. I'm just using the sandwich analogy here. What you want to do and what you feel is gonna, or like where you're at and what you feel is gonna happen if you do this. And then we have the Justice card at the bottom of the deck. And like I said, this is your card. This is a scales balancing. It's fairness. It's getting what you deserve, good or bad, but usually good. There's a sort of truth here. There's a bit of like karma and fate related to the Justice card too. We have the Death card behind it. Like I said, you know, even that bird that I saw yesterday, and I mean, it was carrying a snake, but it's interesting that, you know, there's this depiction. And, you know, we have these white owls. I don't know, are they snowy owls? I don't know what kind of owl this is, but, you know, we have these owls in here, which again, you know, feels a bit constricting, like you're stuck, and it's out. It is out. Death card, the Death card talks about, and I always say this anytime the Death card comes out, new beginnings disguise themselves as endings, because something does have to end in order for something new to begin. And, you know, this could even be just really getting into your power here. And there's this cycle that's ending, which would be, these two pieces of bread over here, this and that. The Two of Wands is planning for the future. There's that cardinal again. But it is like it's looking towards the future. What do I want to do? How do I want to do it? There's also two people. There's a lion and a lioness here. So if there is somebody else involved in some capacity, right? Even if it is a difficult conversation, and even if it does take some time, if it's not resolved in the first conversation, and it's something that you maybe have to like revisit and come back to, right? Because that happens, It seems like, since we have the Two of Wands out here, that eventually you guys get on the same page and you start looking forward to the future. There's this compromise thing that's happening here. The Emperor, which is interesting because I feel like, yes, the book was talking about taking on the energy of the stag. That's kind of like, and I immediately thought Emperor, because the Emperor is confident. They are, an authority, right? They're not going to be told what to do. Could you imagine? They might take advice, but they're not going to be told what to do. This is also Mars. It's a card of Aries. Mars is going to make you feel uncomfortable until you change, which is interesting that we have, a lot of this kind of transitionary stuff happening in here. So if you feel uncomfortable, yeah, you should, because there is this opportunity here to transmute or change an energy. We also have the Sword of Truth that this owl is sitting on top of, just like the Justice card. Relying on your truth. Stick to your truth. That's all you have to do. I know that's hard, but you can do it. We have the Six of Pentacles. Again, this is even that compromise a bit that I was talking about, like with the Two of Wands. But this is help from others, support from others. Kind of gross, but this bird eats the ticks off of, I think these are oxes, whatever. But, so, these little ticks attach themselves, and then these birds feed off the ticks. Four of Swords, rest. High Priestess, being in alignment with your higher self. I love this. It's just, I know this is a lot to get through, and I have faith in you. I'm going to leave it there. Though, thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.